Okay, fine. Now we see in last session we spoke about how to create web services, what is web service, and comparatively where actually web services need to be used. Okay. Now if you see each and every each area in Java is itself an area of study. Fine. So I don't know, means you have to understand the depth, and then I'll be sharing this material again, which is of 40 to 50 hours. As I told as I told you that we give training on different technologies specifically to job requirement as well. Okay. So if you'll hurry, then problem will be there. So I'll just see that whatever is committed, that is done, and try to follow the material and try to study more and come up with questions. Fine. Now we see there are different ways of creating web services. There are various frameworks which can be used in order to create web services. So basic here is to see how actually we can understand a web service, how actually we can identify capabilities of a web service. It's about how actually we can go and find out that how we will invoke the web service. For that they have standards, and I told you that WSDL is one of the important documents that comes handy with certain tools in order to help you in exploring different features of that particular web service. Okay, so that's what is there. Now most of these tools comes integrated with your IDs. Whatever IDs are there, whether you go with JDeveloper or you go with you say Eclipse or you go with NetBeans, you will find certain IDs that help you to not only building web services but also testing web services. Okay, Apache Access is one of the popular ones which is frequently used, and WAS, when it comes, WebSphere Application Server, it comes inbuilt with Access, right? Apart from that, you have other framework like Apache CXF, which can also be used in order to build a web service or consume a web service. There also you will find various tools that helps you to generate artifacts like we have seen in last session, where we have generated certain artifacts. After he sleeps. Okay, right? So is that clear?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, fine. So what I'll do now, I'll show you certain frameworks which we can use in order to generate web services. And for that, what I am going to do is I am going to download Tomcat. I'll be doing some downloads in order to tell you about different architectures which are there. I'll be downloading Access, or I'll be downloading Apache CXF also. So there are certain things which are important. Now what I'll do, I'll just go and write Tomcat 7 download. Now you have various downloads. I always prefer this because it is platform independent. So I'm taking up 7 and I'm downloading the zip one, right? Now apart from this, I can also go and download Apache CXF, which is a framework that helps you to build web services. So you can go and download this project, and all these small projects actually leads you to SOA, that is service oriented architecture. Always download binary. So I'll download this binary. There will see lots of improvements. 3.0 is already there. I'll just take this zip file. Right, so we have now the required downloads. Apache Tomcat is downloaded. It contains bin in which we have startup, right? So you can use Access with any app server, but there are certain times when you have to avoid conflict because JBox comes along with its own Apache commons. So there you may have some conflict with various frameworks. This is the reason I am downloading Tomcat in order to show you how actually you can work with that. Right, so download is going on. Let this download get over. Okay, fine. Meanwhile, what I'll do, I'll just go and create a web service using Apache Access. Now you see, the ways are different, tools are different, but at the end of the day, you will get W is deal file, which you can use in order to write, you say, clients in order to consume the web service. I'll just go here and I'll go to preferences. It's okay. I'm just using this, but whatever I'm doing here, everything will be there in your Eclipse which you have current download. I just go runtime environment, add, and I'll select here Apache 7. Next, you can go and select Java version, and then you have to specify the Tomcat directory. Open. Click on finish. Now this is what is my web container. Last session we have created web service without any web container, but now we are going to create web service which will be deployed in our web server. Okay, is that clear? Meanwhile, CXF is getting downloaded. What I'll do, I'll just go create new. I'll change the perspective here. And I'll take new perspective as Java EE. This is what is our perspective. I'll go and I'll add the server. Tomcat. It's configured, so there will be no. Now I'll start Tomcat. Server is started. Now I'll go and I'll create web service. New dynamic web project. See the step, because it's all step driven. I'll write here test web service. Now I'll be creating 2.5 and I'll change the target runtime to Apache Tomcat. Okay, because I want it to be there in Tomcat, right? I'll click on next. Click on next, and I'll click on finish. So it creates a web component here. As of now, if you see here web component, it has web.xml file, and in web.xml file, you don't have any entry because we have not created any servlet as such. Okay, right. Now next, what needs to be done? Before we move forward, I will like to tell you how actually you will configure Apache CXF and Apache Access in your Eclipse. So I'll go again to preferences. In preferences, if you see, you have web service here, and in web service you have something called as access. Just select this. You have to specify location of the access runtime. This is CXF. You have to go and add the download location of your CXF. Then you have JBossWS. You have to go and add. So there are various tools actually which can be configured in order to help you in quickly creating web service client as well as web service provider. Now CXF is downloaded. I'll just go and add it. This is one of the very popular frameworks now. I'll go to downloads and I have this here. I'll select it. So it will go and it will automatically load that CXF and it will make it part of your ID. Let this get added. It has automatically read the version and type. Click on finish. And here it tells you that you have a Apache CXF. Apply. OK. The benefit of adding here is automatically it will go and read all your libraries which are required for Apache CXF. Okay. Is that fine? So now we are going to see how to create a web service. For that, I am not going to use annotations because that is approach that we use in order to go with Java JAX-WS. Now we are going to create a web service which is specific to framework, Apache Access and Apache CXS. So I'll just go here and I'll create a new Java class. New class. I'll just go here and write com.services. And in this I will write calculator, same service but a different approach. Click on finish. Now I'll just go and write the same functionality here which we have added or written in web service that we created in last class. Just wanted to show you different ways of creating web services using different frameworks. I'll just go here and write return I plus j. Save it. Okay. Now this is my class. Now I want this class to be a web service class. So you be a bit careful and see. I'm selecting this class here, right click, new, and I'll go and I'll create a web service. I'll go to others. In others, I'll have something called as web service as well now. Here I have web service. So what I can do, I can just go and select this web service here, click on next. Now it provides you two different approaches. One is bottom up, that is from Java class to a web service, and top down. If I select top down, it will ask me, give me the WSDL file. So there are two different ways in which actually you can create web service. Fine. Right. Now if you see, I can select here, what is your server? My server is not JBoss. I am going to use Tomcat. And my web service is runtime is also not JBoss. It is Apache Access. Click on OK. Ensure that these two are changed. Okay. And my project is also not test1 web. It is what? Test web service. So please ensure that these entries are corrected before you go and deploy it. Is that clear?
Yes.
Right. Now you can select that what should be the life cycle. What should be the life cycle till where actually you have to create. Now here it is start service. I'll just move it. See, develop, assemble, deploy, install, test. So I can select till test also. Everything will be done by your ID. Okay. Now here I can select service implementation class. And class is, I'll just go here and write calculator. Right. This is what is my service implementation class. Now what I need to do? Publish service. I'm not interested in client as of now because I'm getting the test here itself. Click on next. Now this I have to change, right? I have to take action. Click on OK. And ensure that this part is 100% correct, otherwise problem is still there. See, now it is saying compliance level is set to 1.7. Your Java VM workbench is running on this. So I need to change something. What is that? I have to go and change this Java build path. Just go here, Java build path 1.7. You have to go to Java compiler 1.7. Then you have to come to project facets ensure that it is 1.7, apply. Okay, so you change it. It's all matter of setting your editor's compliance level. I feel rest is fine. Right. Now let's go and try it again. I'll go to Java resources, Java source, calculator, right click, new, and I'll go to others. So once you have only one JDK and one Eclipse in your system, all these problems will not be there. And all these tests are done when you go and build your development environment. Sorry. All these tests need to be done again. I have to restart the workbench. Okay, so instead of restarting, what we can do is we can go to this path here, change the compliance to 1.6. This is one thing that we can do, and we can try again. My system got crashed yesterday, so I have to do all the installation again. Just go to new, others, and again you have to go and select the services. Select this, click on next, change this. In this problem there.
Niranjan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
Here you
changing
want
the.
to-
Yeah.
Yeah. So here you want to show us like Apache work into web services are how web services working into Apache, right? And the other day you
Yes.
explained web services with Java JBoss.
Other day we have created web services without using any server environment. Now I told you that there are various frameworks in market which you can use in order to create web services. Here we are using Apache Access with Tomcat.
Okay.
Okay. So similarly, you have many other frameworks also.
Oh, I see.
Right? So we have to just have a look so that we can understand that when framework changes, approach of creating web service, tools, everything will change. Now if you see this proper, it is giving you add. So select method that you want to be treated as a web service method, right? Since only we have one, it's showing you only one. Click on next. So see, I did nothing. I just wrote Pojo, and rest of the things are being done by my ID. I just told ID to use Apache Access. Test facility here is Web Service Explorer. I can just go and click on launch. Once I click on launch, it launches Web Service Explorer. And see, you have add here, right? And this is what is the URL endpoint. Now I can go and click on add. It gives me a good UI here. See, I can write here 100. So I need not generate stub and all to test functionality. That's what is benefit of Eclipse. You see, it gives you 300. What we did as a developer? Nothing, right? We just created this Pojo and we use these tools and steps in order to generate the web service. But if you see, it has generated so many artifacts. WSDL. It has generated WSDL. Then it has made some entry in web.xml. Initially when we created, that web.xml was empty, right? Now you see it has made some entries in web.xml. Is that clear? So you see, all these are done automated. So now if your company is using Apache Access, that is the time when you have to go and explore Apache Access only as a tool in order to create and deploy web service. Okay? Is that clear?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, that when we talk about web services, until and unless you are not aware about what tool you are going to use, it is difficult for you to go and say that or claim that I know web services. Okay, this is the reason why we say that JAX WS API is something which we can use in order to build web services and test web services. Now JAX WS web services are supported by Access, they are supported by CXF or JBoss WS or whatever you have. It's clear, right? Now again, if I want to run, you see what I'll do. I'll select this WSDL, right click, and you have here web service. Right? If you see, so many are there. Test in Web Service Tester, test with Web Service Explorer, publish WSDL file, generate Java Bean skeleton, generate client, all these are there, right? So I can go and I can click here again and it opens this here. I'll just click on this. It gives me a good JSP page where I can go and write input and this gives me output. So you see how easy it is in order to create your web service. Is that clear? Internally, what your ID is using? It's using again tool. What tool? Java to WSDL. Because here from Java class, WSDL is getting generated. And using that WSDL, your framework which you are using is generating rest of the classes. Is that clear?
Okay.
Right. Now, again, if you see, I want to create a web service using Apache CXF, okay, which itself is a framework. I'll just go and create one more new. You just see the steps carefully, and I'll go to web project, dynamic web project. I'll give a name here. You say test service 2. And here I'll select 2.5. Tomcat is fine. I'll click on next. I'll click on next. I'll click on finish. Right? Now let's go and check the compliance level which was creating problem. Java compiler change to 1.6. Right? Then project fetch state change to 1.6. Right, this is what is the problem. Click on OK. Now I want to use Apache CXF. So first thing I will do is I will go and check whether it is configured or not. You'll go here. You have here web services. Just go to this and select this. If you see it is selected, right? You have added it. If you have not added, click on add and specify the CXF home that you have downloaded. It's clear, right? Click on apply, click on OK. So everything is set now. I'll just go and create same calculator class and I'll try to deploy it on Tomcat. But this time what? This time your framework will be different. It will not be Apache Access. It will be Apache CXF. Okay. So I'll just go here. Access service new class. Simple Java class. And I write here calculator 2. I'll just go and write com.services. Fine. Click on finish. Now when you use Apache CXF, there are certain rules that you have to follow when you write classes. You'll come to know that. I'll just write here public int add. The same method int I int j. Return I plus j. Now you have this web service, right? We are using Apache CXF framework now. I'll go select this and see the step. Right click, new, others. Again, I'll go and I'll create web service. Next. So this time, my server runtime is Tomcat, but web service runtime is Apache CXF. Okay. Right. So we have changed the framework and my project is test service 2. That's fine. Again, you can go and change this level. And now when you click on next, you see what it is doing. It installs Apache CXF in your current web container. And then it is asking you, use a service endpoint. In previous case, using service endpoint was not required, but here it is mandatory. So what I'll do, you create a service endpoint. I'll write calculator INF. Okay, INF in the sense interface. And I'll select this method. So this is what is requirement for Apache CXF. Apache CXF requires SCI, that is service endpoint interface. If you will not specify, it will not move further. But Apache Access never provided that, right? And here you see, you can use annotations. You see, @web service, it creates this class, this interface. You can take web method, you can take web param, you can take request wrapper, whatever you want. These are different annotations we have there. Now if you see, if I go and click on next, it generates WSDL, right? It will ask us, do you want us to have client? Do you want us to generate only server side artifact, or do you want us to generate wrapper and forwards? If you see, I can select this. It generates a server mainline using JAX-WS API endpoint.publish, which we have already used. So different frameworks, you will have different ways of creating, publishing and managing web services, right? This is the reason why until and unless your specific web service runtime is not decided, right, it will be very difficult to claim that you can be part of the development team, because you have to know that framework which has been decided by your company. Is that clear?
Okay.
So it is doing the same thing. Okay. But simplicity here is that you have IDs which comes with integrated support. So you will not end up writing lots of code and all. You need to just know the steps that you have to follow in order to publish the web service. I'll click on finish, and if you see, we got something similar to that, right? Just refresh it. Or close it and try to launch the test again. You have here this WSDL. Here you have WSDL, right click. right? Now you can go and click on add. Now it's a different web service, okay, using different standard. Fine, so it is saying we are not able to this, unexpected error occurred. Reason is very clear, simple. I'll just go to server. In server I have to go and I have to restart it. Okay. So if you see, this is how actually you will go and you will create web services using different frameworks. If I copy this from here, it's not deployed, it's there at file. It's okay. It just started and synchronized. Right, so you can go and you can open this web service WSDL file and you can see what is there in there. Is that clear?
Okay.
Fine. So these are different frameworks which you can use in order to build your web service. If you see, this was automatically added as part of steps that you took using Apache CXF. Okay. Now Apache CXF itself comes along with various tools. For example, if I go to Apache CXF bin, you'll find Java 2 WS, right? Java 2 WS. This is back and this is what we can use. WADL, this is for RESTful web services. WSDL to Java, WSDL to service. So you have various tools which are there. So you need to now study Apache CXF in order to build web services. So you have docs also in this, which you can actually go and use. You have samples also. Various samples are there, like to build Java first JMS web service. So all those things are there, which is actually you can use for your learning. But please understand, it's a separate area of study itself. Okay. Is that clear? Same is the case with Apache Access. In Apache Access also you have lots of depth that you can follow, like you can write your own handlers. Okay. Fine, but as of now, my objective was to ensure that you are aware about different frameworks are there and your Eclipse or any ID comes with pre-built support. Okay. I'll open it. Open the WSDL file now. If you see, this is what is WSDL that you have created using CXF. Now, this will be common. Okay. Whatever tags are there in this, same tags will be there in case of Access web services also. Is this clear?
Okay.
Fine. Now if you see, we are going to explore this WSDL file. What is meaning of what? Okay. So in order to understand this, if you see, when we use WSDL to Java, it generated various artifacts, right? All those artifacts are created using this WSDL file. It means WSDL file has sufficient information to let you know about web service and how actually you can go and you can call that web service. This is the reason why tools are able to generate the sufficient proxy in order to help you in communicating with the web service, right? So each WSDL file starts with child, you say root, and root of WSDL is WSDL opening, WSDL definitions closing. This is what is root. Inside this root, you will have something called as WSDL types, right? This is immediate child of WSDL definitions. Right. Now, if you see what actually we do when we talk about web service client and web service provider, they will exchange information to each other using SOAP, and that SOAP is nothing but it's XML. And XML must have predefined grammar. Otherwise, if I will send you some data and if you are not aware about how to interpret it, you are not aware about the grammar, it will be difficult for you to communicate, right? So right, it will be difficult for you to communicate. Fine. So that actually grammar, in order to enable service provider and service consumer to communicate with each other, is what is provided by this schema. Okay. Right. So what schema will be used in order to create the communication, in order to request and response, is what is there in this namespace. Okay, this schema, right? So basically it provides you a grammar for request and response. Okay, is that clear? Now you can open the schema as well. If I open the schema, you'll find here types. Two complex types, one is for request and this is the response. This complex type is the request and this complex type is the response. Right? Is that clear?
Okay.
Fine. So this is what is first information which you will get in WSDL. Now comes what are other tags? What is meaning of other tags there? See, when it comes to WSDL, it not only tells you about type, but it also tells you about operations. For example, here you have something called as port type. Now, port type is classification of message or operations. Okay, you have port, which is classification of operation, and this particular port type will have details about your operation. Right. So if you see here, since this method has only one operation, it is specified here: WSDL operation opening, WSDL operation closing, and each operation is specified with what will be the input and what will be the output. Input is add and output is add response. Right. This is what is port type. Right. So important ones here are type, that is schema. Then you have port type, which is classification of operations. Under port type you will have operations opening, operations closing. Right. And each operation will take some input and will produce you some output. Right. If your pattern of communication is request response. Right. Then comes what is this port binding? Now, if you see, this port binding is nothing but technical details that you are using what transport protocol. So here, SOAP over HTTP. It can be SOAP over SMTP. It can be SOAP over BEEP. Right? So you are making your web services available over what protocol? That is what is basic objective. Is that clear? Right, so soap binding actually contains technical details. Now you have the last one, and that is WSDL service. This is the place where you specify the technical details like endpoint. Like soap address here is what? Is the endpoint of the web service. This is what is the endpoint of this web service. If someone wants to communicate with this web service, this is the place where you will look for in WSDL. If you want to publish this web service somewhere else, this is the place where you will make change and then you will publish it. Because publisher also reads your WSDL in order to get the information. Is that clear?
Okay.
So basically objective of WSDL is what? Objective of WSDL is to ensure that you are able to make your clients, whoever wants to consume your service, aware about types that you are using, messages, operations. And when it comes to operations, technical and structural details. Structural details, when I say, it means what argument need to be passed. Technical detail, when I say, it means what protocol is being used, like SOAP over HTTP and that, right? What is the style? It is document or it is literal, or whether it is RPC. Okay, so there are various things that actually you can explore from here. And then finally, what? Final is what? Where is the service present? Okay, or what is the service endpoint? So these details are there, which actually you will come to know from WSDL. Okay, so types you will come to know from schema. Message structure is there here, one for input, one for output. Then operations are grouped and they are classified under port type, where technical and non-technical details are specified. So when it comes to binding, it is technical detail. When it comes to SOAP operation here, it tells you about what is the input and what is the output. And then where service is located is present in WSDL:service. Is this clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So this is how actually you will be working with web services. You have to identify the framework that you are using. You have to identify the web container that you are using. You have to identify the approach, the tools which are supplied along with these frameworks. Okay. For example, if you have Apache CXF here, right? I'll just go to CD. Okay. I think I have to do ls first. CD downloads. Then I'll do CD Apache CXF. I'll go to bin ls. Now, like I have used what? Different tools which are there, which are available in your CXF. Now, whatever you have done using WS import, same thing you can do using this. Okay, so you can go and, for example, Java to WSDL to Java, right? So let me take a WSDL here. Let me take any one of them. Close this. Cancel. Let me go to that Apache Tomcat, Apache Access Web Service here, so that you can see how one can access others. Yeah, actually, the Safari will not support that. It's a WSDL file, but Safari is not displaying it. So I'll just take this, don't worry. Control C. And now I'll go here. So if you see WSDL to Java is there. So I'll just go and write PWD, we are in this. Now in Windows you can directly write WSDL to Java because it's a batch file. And just press enter. Once I press enter, it will tell me what all is needed. Right, it says that missing argument WSDL URL. Okay, so I have to go and add that. So I'll just go here, WSDL to Java, paste the URL, press enter. So you need to go through the tools which are there depending on framework that you have selected. And believe me, all tools will provide you WSDL to Java, Java to WSDL. right? Now, since standard is common, you need not go and you need not worry about it. Now, there are various things that we can specify here. It should go to what directory, where actually it should be stored and all. You got it right? Something it has done?
Okay.
Right? If you see, it has created a folder called com. Let me go here. Created from this tool only. In Apache CXF, it created it in the current one. See com. It created this service, and you have here calculator. So whatever we have done using WS import, same thing is getting generated using tool which is provided to us by Apache CXF also, right? Hello? Are you there?
Yes.
So whatever is generated using WS import, same thing we have generated. Okay, so it's matter of going through a particular framework and adopting that framework along with knowledge of the tools that you can use in order to productively participate in web service development. Good understanding of WSDL is always fruitful. Is that clear? So if you see, I will like you to go through a document if you specifically want to have expertise on web services, that will be shared with you. As I told you that each topic itself is, it has its own depth. So if you see here, this is just material of web service and it is 400 pages, right? So use this document as a document which will help you a lot in order to understand various things. Is that clear?
Okay.
Fine. For this, you need to have a bit understanding of schema also, XML schema, because that is what is getting translated into all classes. For example, if I want you to show you how JAXB works, it's simple. I can just go and take one of the schemas here. For example, I come here to, you say, any place, any folder, desktop only, and I'll paste it here. And now I want to generate classes for binding. Okay, so see what I'm doing. I'll just go and it's fine. I can use this calculator to schema 1, or I can go and we can name it also, right? Let me rename it to calculator2.xst. It is fine. Right. Now I can go here to command prompt. Sorry. Clear screen. And cd dot pwd will come out of download, and then I'll go to desktop. Okay, because my XSD file is there here. I'll do ls. You see, I have this XSD. Now from this XSD, I want to get the required classes. Okay. How to do that? We have a tool called as XJC. For that, I'll just go and create here mkdir binding classes. I created this. I'll move to this binding classes, right? And now what I need to do is I'll just go and use a tool called as XJC. It stands for XML to Java compiler. I'll press enter to check it is working, and if you see what you have to do, you have to just specify generated file will go to what directory, right? Fine. So I'll just go here and show that to you. XJC -d dot, and here we have to pass We have to pass what? The file. Which file? This file. Let me copy this in binding.class so that you can directly write it there. You can go and you can pass here, sorry. Name of the file, and name of the file is calculator Excel. Now see, parsing, and it created. And if you see what it created, add.java, add response.java, object factory, package info. And these are the things which is created in your web services also, right? When you do WSJ2 out of which you see 4 are getting created as a result of XJC. It means your WS import or tools which you are using in order to generate client stuff are going to use XJC, that is a JAX-B compiler. Okay, now JAX-B has its own API that you can actually use. So there are 4 or 5 different APIs which you have to explore if you want to be really good at web services. Okay. It's clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so you have to try out all this and then you have to actually come up with questions. Your learning will be complete only if you come up with questions. I can create a web service and I can show you the entire architecture. But problem is if I am not aware what you are reading or what you are actually going through.
Right.
Okay, so I'll just share this material right away. Please ensure that you are completing the reading part so that I can move to. If you really ask me questions, you will get the answers of the required depth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Niranjan, can you ask Anthony as well to download both the videos, Saturday's videos and today's video? He has not downloaded
Yeah.
yet. Uploaded
Saturday's
yet.
video actually he has downloaded. He has to upload it. Today's video he will download to I think tonight and then he will do that.
Right.
Yeah, it is not. One question which she has asked is not recognized as an internal or external command because you have not set the bin path in your Windows path. You have to go and set JDK 1.7/bin in your path. I'll make you present to just do that. You are the presenter now. Share your screen. Kani, you are okay. You can't share your screen. That's what is the issue, right? Okay, you have to just go and set the path.
Okay.
Okay, set the path, start a new prompt, and then you will be able to. It's like making call to Java C. If you can call Java C from anywhere, what you do for that? You go and set the path, right?
Yeah.
So if you set the path there,
Okay.
Java C you can call from anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if you can call Java C from anywhere, you can call JAX WS import also from anywhere. Only thing is you have to set that path.
Okay.
Okay, you have to go right click computer, go to environmental variable, right? And in environmental variable you will have a path. Just come to the beginning and add your Java bin path. Not Java home, it is Java bin path. And once you will do that, start a new prompt and it will work. Is that clear?